Washington's pledge to retaliate against attacks on its troops in the Red Sea is escalating tensions dramatically across West Asia. But does it mean a wider war is in the offing? Washington is facing a dilemma. On one hand, it needs to present a strong response to the deadly attack on the U.S. military. On the other, it needs to find the right balance to prevent a major escalation in the region. In an address after the attack in Jordan, U.S. President Joe Biden blamed the radical Iran-backed militant groups operating in Syria and Iraq and pledged retaliation at a time and place of their choosing. Iran has denied direct involvement in the attack in Jordan, but over the past decades, U.S. threats have heightened the risk of a direct conflict between Iran and America many times. Biden's political rivals say there have been over 160 attacks on American troops since Israel's assault in Gaza. They've accused the White House of not doing enough to deter Tehran. Both Washington and Tehran have said they do not want to get into a full-scale war. Both Republicans and Democrats have stayed away from advocating an outright confrontation with Iran. But with Republicans urging Biden to hit Iran, Biden cannot afford to portray weakness as he struggles with low approval ratings ahead of a likely rematch with former President Donald Trump. The region is already a battlefield, with the US-led coalition exchanging fire with Tehran-backed Houthis in Yemen. And the threat of an Israeli-Hezbollah war in Lebanon, any escalation in the Gulf will trigger a spike in oil prices and global inflation, far more damaging to the president's re-election prospects than some name-calling from old soldiers and Republican senators. At the same time, U.S. officials remain hopeful they are inching closer to reaching a hostage agreement that would include a lengthy pause in the fighting in Gaza, and they hope an easing to tensions in the region will be something that will happen very soon. U.S. officials believe a longer pause in the fighting could provide space for more humanitarian aid to flow into Gaza. It could also facilitate fruitful discussions about the future of Israel's campaign against Hamas. And we earlier spoke to John Erath, who is a senior policy director for the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation from Washington, D.C.
I think a war with Iran would be highly unlikely. As you said a few minutes ago, neither side wants a war at this point. It is not in the interests of either side to enter into an open conflict. Iran has demonstrated this repeatedly by its use of proxy groups. Iran does not act against the United States directly. It uses these groups to do so where it can preserve some level of deniability. So I think this is going to be much more the pattern that you will see in the coming months.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.